Ah, isn't this nice? The sun, the sea, and some random Chinese fishermen. But while all this may look peaceful, we've actually come to one of the most controversial countries in the world. And while conflict and controversy kinda sucks for daily life, it's a goldmine for a certain breed of photographer.
Alright, ladies and gents, we have the Pro Photographer Cheap Camera Challenge again, and this time round I'm here with Israel's first and only Pulitzer Prize winning photojournalist Oded Balilty. Thank you for joining us.
Oded is no stranger to danger. He's a veteran photographer for the Associated Press, who's extensively covered the Israeli-Palestinian conflict and documented the 2008 Sichuan earthquake that devastated China. He's won dozens of awards, and his personal work has graced galleries around the world.
You work for the AP.
Yes.
And this is your standard go-to workhorse.
Yes, it's part of my gear. Usually I work with the two bodies.
How old is this particular camera?
It's old. I think it's like five years.
No bullet holes or anything?
No, not in the last 5 years. In the second Intifada, one of my colleagues got a hit from a bullet from an M16 in his 70 to 200 lens.
And it stopped the bullet?
It stopped the bullet. Yeah, but it didn't function after that.
Well, yeah, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
You said that there's a big difference between an amateur photographer and a pro photographer, and it's not the camera.
Sometimes I see amateur photographers with much better cameras than I have, and I'm jealous, even though sometimes, you know. But it's not about the gear that you use, it's about the depth of the story.
Right.
As a professional photojournalist, you have to be objective.
Because you're such a hard man, I think I've found the perfect fit. And you can do the unboxing too.
Oh my God.
It comes in 2 colors. And I've got you the most manliest of colors. That's just the cover.
Okay, this is the macho proof.
Yes.
Okay.
Because, you know, the conflict area, you need protection. This will protect the camera
from
shocks.
Well, it's light. I already liked it. Oh my
Ta-da!
God.
This is your camera for today.
Look, which one fits more? We'll go for that. I'm a father of 2 amazing girls, so I got used to these kind of things. That's a challenge.
It has burst mode. And it also does black and white. It does
black and white?
I noticed that you like black and white sometimes.
Okay. Oh, I love the sound.
Most of yeah. So you've even got self-timer mode.
Black and white?
Black and white.
Aha, you got it. All right.
Yeah. Should we get shooting?
Let's go. I can't wait.
So, you know, in Israel there's a lot of conflict, a lot of struggles, and we've come to a place that really symbolizes that sort of, you know, fast-paced environment where you need that quick reaction to deal with crowds. And that's why I've come to Tel Aviv's car show.
Yeah, exactly from the reason that you said. Yeah. Usually when I'm with my big cameras here, I can, you know, push the crowds and get like permission to stand in better positions. But here I cannot say I'm a journalist. Nobody will take me seriously here.
Oded likes a good challenge, which is great because we've only got 1 hour before the car show finishes.
In situations that I have to think very fast, I think better.
Really?
Yeah.
Most people don't work very well under pressure despite writing that on their CV. For a normal person, like all of these people, this crowd, all this noise is just going to make you go... It's like going shopping with your wife.
No, actually, I like to be in a big crowd where there is a big mess. Then I like reorganize it to clean the mess with my pictures.
OCD style. You must have a really clean house.
Yes. Sometimes just by eliminate the pictures that you don't take, you find your picture.
What would be the obvious ones then?
Just to shoot the complete nice car. The pictures that I'm looking here is the cars are in the background. I think the connection between the cars and the people, this is what will make the picture. So that's what I'm looking for.
You often see one photographer taking a photo of something from one position and then another person coming there and also taking from exactly the same position.
Yes.
What do you do when you see
I walk away.
like that? You walk away.
Because that's an obvious situation. When I took the photograph of the evacuation of the outpost, the peak of the event was in another place. And there were like so many photographers there. The horses, the fire, the settlers, the police. And I just walked to the other side of the outpost. And that's where I found the situation.
What do you think about the situation where a lot of galleries think photojournalism is an art and therefore won't exhibit your your stuff?
I think it's their loss, because in photojournalism or documentary photography or magazine photography, there is an amazing stuff. And Rick Marty, he took a picture of a funeral of the war in Kosovo. The scene in that room looks like a Caravaggio painting. You know, so what's the difference? He uses a brush and he uses a camera.
As we're talking about all this serious business, this gentleman by the wall came up to Oded and gave him something to mull over.
He said that the best way of making money in photography is just to sell your cameras. I have that. I don't know how much I'm going to be able to sell that. If a photographer think about the money so much, he should rethink. I never started it for money, and I'm not doing this for money now.
As we're walking down this narrow alley, Oded gets cornered by two men in black, holding what looks like a sword and a grenade. Only they're green. Turns out it's a false alarm, and they're just trying to get him to perform a Jewish rite.
You gotta smell that fruit, and then you gotta I don't know, some kind of bush or something. You gotta shake that vegetable, and it reminds you of your Jewish roots or something. But I like how he's trying to diffuse the situation.
They don't stop, these guys.
No.
I'm telling you, they don't stop, but they are nice guys.
And here they are again! Man, these guys just don't give up. All this is happening because we're in Israel during the Sukkot holiday, which is kind of like Jewish Thanksgiving, except it lasts for a week.
I feel like I should maybe help Oded shake the thing.
Turns out they're actually holding a citron fruit and 3 kinds of plants. According to the Torah, you're supposed to wave them every day during the Sukkot festival. But since Oded isn't religious, he's trying to steer clear of all this. Which is kind of hard since everyone wants him to shake their thing, including this fisherman.
No, I'm just taking pictures.
What, are you embarrassed?
No, I'm just taking pictures today. I'm just taking pictures. That's my favorite part of being a photographer. I'm behind the camera.
It's good to be behind the camera, but it's also good to be in front of the camera. Not to hide behind the camera.
No, I'm not hiding. I'm just playing.
Do you often have that much interaction with your subjects? Are you talking to them when you're taking photos?
Usually I'm trying to avoid words. Sometimes it's just an eye contact and body language.
So you're always a fly on the wall.
Fly on the wall is hard to be, but I'm trying to be as less present in the area. Oh,
It's
switched
hard
off.
when that happens.
It takes like 20 seconds to turn on the camera and to put it on the right setting. You know how many pictures you can miss in 20 seconds? See, here is a better camera than I have. Which camera is that? No, which camera? איזה מצלמה זאת? Canon. Right.
He has a Canon as well.
He has a real camera. He is a real photographer. How much does it cost?
It was 100 shekels.
100 שקל, 100 שקל. כן, אתם רואים? It's like a Lego.
זה לא לגו.
זה יפה.
Alright, חג שמח, ביי.
Yeah, just now that was about half a second.
No, yeah, okay. Once you wake it up, it works. Until you wake it up, it takes ages. Like it's to wake up a teenager to school, you know? Okay.
You're gonna miss it. You're gonna miss it. Yeah, no, you just missed it. You missed it. Oh, okay.
It has one button and 300 options.
It's the only camera that has a worse menu design than Sony's. I guess in your line of work, having a camera like that would mean death of your professional career.
No, it's the peak of my career. It's the peak.
Yeah, because if you manage to get a good photo, then you're going to win another Pulitzer.
It's not the camera, it's the photographer.
No, it's definitely your fault.
Since we won't be getting great pictures straight out of the camera, what does Oded think about doing some creative editing?
In the last couple of years, I've seen photographers for very big newspapers or magazines adding, a lot of contrast and desaturate the pictures and do a lot of stuff that really makes those pictures look nice.
Yeah.
But you can feel that it's not real. Our pictures as photojournalists can look flat sometimes, and that's a problem. But these are the real colors. These are the real pictures. So it's very important not to fall into those gimmicks. The impact should be from the content and not from the Photoshop or whatever. Shalom.
Back in Tel Aviv, Oded was already catching flack for not being religious. But now we've come to Mea Shearim, Jerusalem's most conservative quarter. This is one of the most interesting places to photograph during Sukkot holiday, But whether or not we'll be welcome here is another issue.
At first I thought it was a security camera, but it's actually just someone's door. It's one of those fisheye thingamajiggies.
This is an ultra-Orthodox neighbourhood, where everyone abides by strict Jewish laws. Not only do people here not want to be photographed, they're actively trying to avoid us.
שלום, no pictures.
No picture.
למה?
ככה, עשו פה.
רוצים להראות להם סוכות יפות. Alright. No pictures, no pictures. Alright.
Fair enough. So a lot of people, when they get told they can't do something, they might just do it anyway.
Even if I would go in now, not necessarily I would take a picture because there is nothing much there at the moment. So, but if I see there is a picture, I would insist more, in a friendly way.
Yeah.
Oded wants to photograph these sukkahs, which are temporary booths people put up during the holiday in which they eat and chill. Kind of like camping in your backyard.
Looks a bit like a township.
Yeah. It's a Jewish chutong.
Yeah. Pretty much. Why do they do this?
Between the times that they left Egypt and they arrived to Israel, they were 40 years in the desert.
Right.
They use tents and stuff. So it's just to remember those days.
All of your photos that you've been taking on this little camera are in black and white.
Yes.
Is there a reason for that?
First, it's fun. The other reason I don't know, I didn't know the quality.
Yeah.
And you cannot expect like an amazing quality from this camera. And in black and white, in very hard grain, it works for you. So I think it's a good solution. And we're also shooting in different locations, so it can make the entire images look kind of the same, or the same language.
Right. Oded reckons we'll get more interesting shots inside a synagogue, so we waltzed right in.
Sound.
To be honest though, if he'd been carrying his normal gear, there's no way they would have let us in. They chucked out some journalists just a few days ago.
So this is the extension of the synagogue now with the sukkah, right next to the synagogue.
Even with this tiny camera, we stick out like a sore thumb.
Amen, amen. Who are you making the pictures for?
בשבילי, אני ישראלי.
Sometimes it seems like Oded's just wandering around, but he's constantly making calculations in his head. He likes to visualize the shot before it happens, because often by the time you see it, it's already too late. He's like a hunter, laying a trap for his subjects to walk into his composition.
אתרוג הפוך, אוקיי.
תלך יותר רחוק, אני לא צד המקצועי, אני לא ב-IP.
There's the real pro.
Yeah.
All reliable.
You should challenge him,
Yeah,
and he challenged me.
we'll be the next show.
One thing for sure about this small camera, or small cameras in general, it helps you, especially in situations like that, like an intimate situation, like you go into someone's house, someone's sukkah, to synagogue, to quiet places. You don't carry the big cameras. People don't pay so much attention to you.
Yeah.
It even makes them smile, you know. What is it, a Lego camera? No, so many people just ask me not to take their picture like usually. So
Oh, I see. So usually when you get, I mean, if that's
usually you walk around, you know, with two bodies, two lenses, maybe another small pouch, you know. You look like an alien to them, you know. So when you walk with one small camera, you look like a tourist, nobody care.
It's not so intimidating.
Yeah, but it has to be a little bit better quality.
Especially, especially because you got a pink one. If you got a blue one, then they would have come up to you and they would have told you to stop filming.
You're right. All right, I'll paint my 5D.
Now that we're back on the empty streets again, how will Oded perform with a less lively subject?
Don't you wish you had a zoom right now?
No, not at all, actually. It's the perfect lens for that situation.
When we were inside the synagogue, one of the kids came up to Oded and he was like, "How much is that camera? Is that a zoom?" And Oded was like, "No, I don't use zoom.
Nah. Zoom make you lazy. I can miss more pictures with the zoom than with the fixed lenses.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you get confused.
If you've got a zoom, you just kind of stand to the side and then you take a picture and you're like, it's not great, but okay, it'll do it, and then you move on. If I had a watch, I'd be doing this.
I will leave this frame, this moment, only after I feel it's right, that I capture that. And it still didn't happen, so you guys stuck here with me.
Who are we waiting for?
I'm trying to combine as much details and layers and information that I can put all in one frame. The combination of the old Jerusalem architecture and the temporary architecture of the sukkahs. It's very interesting. It looks like a piece of art for me. Nice lit triangle on the floor, and I'm just waiting for someone to give a dimension to the size of the sukkah, to fill this empty space.
So you already have in mind pretty much the picture that you want.
I like when I have a plan. This is where imagination and photojournalism meets. You tell a story, I can come here and just take a picture of the sukkah and walk away. But I wanted it to look interesting. I was born and raised in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And so I know this place for when I was very young. Even before I held the camera, I knew about this place.
Yeah.
But still, after so many years taking pictures in this place, I feel like a foreigner here. And they look at me as a stranger. Because usually, I'm not religious. They look at me and at you in the same way. Although that you are not Israeli and I'm Israeli, we are strangers for them.
There's still a divide.
Yeah, it's conflict, but not like the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. It's not, there is no violence involved, but there is a conflict. It's a conflict about lifestyle, who decide what. It's such a mixed country with so many conflicts, between the right and left in the secular community, between the secular community and the ultra-Orthodox community, between the Israelis and the Palestinians. You have like so many conflicts. For photojournalism, it's very interesting. You have so many stories to tell. I would rather for those stories not to be violent. One day this side can be right, and one day the other side can be right.
But both sides are right all the time.
Yeah, well, I guess they're wrong all the time.
That's it. The best photo is one that doesn't take sides.
You think you don't take a side, but at the end, it looks like you took a side.
Right.
Because it's how people look at it. It's not necessarily how you took it. It's not in your head sometimes.
Even though Jews, Muslims and Christians from around the world are dying to live in Jerusalem, Oded now calls Tel Aviv home.
Jerusalem felt too intense, too religious, very heavy for me. I have a lot of bad memories from that city, from all the years that I was covering the conflict here.
How do you stay impartial to what's going on?
You just follow the photojournalism ethics and you do the right things. The ethics are just not to be involved in a situation, not to increase it, not to stage, not to manipulate in the field or in Photoshop. I'm finding moments, I'm not creating them. And that's very important for me. And this is the part of this profession that I like the most. You always look for something. You don't make up things. I'm going to the field and I'm coming back with facts, not with ideas, not with question marks. I was there, that's what happened there. And there is, on top of the pictures, you have caption, very accurate caption, very informative of what, when, how. We leave minimum question marks with our pictures.
After Jerusalem, Tel Aviv feels like the most laid-back place in the world. And for once, we don't have a plan of what we're going to shoot.
It's not that difficult to find pictures. You just have to, change your mode. When I'm not looking for pictures, I just don't see them. When I look for them, I find them. The only time that I never found pictures, it was when I was, with my wife, and we were just traveling and just enjoyed the moment. I actually enjoyed the moment. And I had the camera on my shoulder.
So I think in conclusion, what you were trying to say is to stop traveling with your wife.
No, travel more with your wife, but when you're taking pictures, do it seriously.
We've come to Jaffa, one of the oldest ports in the world, and home to a large Arab population here in Tel Aviv. Oded is taking us to his favourite spot, but it's a little tricky to get to, and with golden hour waning, it's now turned into a race against time.
Let's go, we have another 5 minutes.
But now that we're finally here, Oded spotted a great shot of kids jumping into the sea on the other side of the port. Ah!
If I was here on my own, I would just run there and I would made it now.
Do you ever regret missing a photo opportunity?
Yes, I hate it. I
I'm
hate
sure
it.
it must happen all the time though, right?
It does. I'm trying to minimize that. But it gives you more appetite. When you miss a picture, you have more appetite for the next time. It's part of the game. It's part of the game. Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
But you've got the patience and the time.
Yeah. Yeah, I can come back to the same place like 10 times until I get a picture.
Just like that, the mosque's call to prayer reminds us that golden hours also come to an end.
It's really strange here just being in Jaffa because, I mean, every time you read about Israel, it's all about the conflict. I mean, here it's so peaceful, the muezzin's calling, and it just feels completely different to what I guess maybe the world sees of Israel, right?
Jaffa is it's an isolated island from the conflict. There is a great coexistence. Sometimes I just come here to take daily life pictures, not to show only the coexistence. It's also to show that in Israel, there is other things than just the conflict. People see it on the news, they see 95% conflict.
Yeah.
And this is not fair.
Oded is a man of principle. I feel like he says no more often than he says yes, but that allows him to quickly sift through all the rubbish to find gold. He's patient and persistent, so that when he does see that perfect shot, he's quick enough to capture it too. No wonder his other love is of fishing.
I guess in a way, fishing's kind of like photography, or at least for you, right? Because you got to be patient.
You gotta be patient, and the best fishing is in the best light.
Yeah.
Sunrise or sunset.
If you want to be a pro photographer, you got to be a pro fisherman.
Well, we catch some fishes with that today.
I know that your daughters love this camera, but what do you think about this camera?
She does. Well, if she likes it, I must like it. But it has been an amazing experience. My back feels great. It has an amazing advantage on the big cameras in matter of access, and access is more important than quality, especially in what I'm doing. Nobody cares about who are you, what are you doing with the camera. Nobody takes it seriously, and I really reconsider to not to buy this one, but to buy a lighter and smaller gear.
Or you can have your back breaker.
Thank you very much. Oh, it's heavy. Oh, it's heavy. I got used to that one. Quality, my back. Quality, my back, you know. I'll go with that.